Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of season 5 of Leaders in Action. Tonight is extra special for we are joined by one of the icons of agency. Revolving door is a commonly used term for agency distribution of the life insurance industry because many do not stay long to make a difference. Much more, to make a name for themselves to build a lasting legacy. But we have a rare breed in our industry. Those who do not only have served the industry for decades with distinction, but have inspired many advisors to follow their great example and develop agency leaders to form teams of their own to help protect the financial future of countless Filipinos. Time failed to mellow them down. For as years passed, they evolved from strength to strength, got even better, smarter, and wiser. And the industry is fortunate as they passed on generously their knowledge, experience, and passion to the younger generation.
Guten Abend, Mr. Ivy. Guten Abend, everyone. Maybe you are wondering why I am greeting you good evening in German. Now, may kinalaman po yon sa ating guest for tonight. So again, hello everyone. We're glad that you can spend your evening with us again. Our business demands resilience and tenacity. So it is such a wonderful occasion to be joined by someone who has overcome so much and continue to inspire new generations of advisors and leaders. But before we hear more about her story, we are thankful again for our guest last week, Miss Yani Moya, Associate Financial Wealth Officer of FWD, for sharing with us how TikTok weaves some magic into her agency team. So maraming salamat ulit, Yani. Now on to our episode tonight. We look up to people who have dedicated their life to a cause and excelled in the process to make a huge difference. This evening, we will speak with someone who has contributed so much to the upliftment of the profession of financial advisors and agency leaders in the life insurance industry. I am personally excited to hear what made her stay and what keeps her going through the years. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest sharer for this evening, 14-time top producing region, a life and qualifying MDRT member, a Hall of Fame awardee, and 2014 Gamma president. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Executive Region Head of Manulife Philippines, who, by the way, Mr. Ivy, is joining us tonight all the way from Berlin, Germany. Let's call in Miss Margie Ongkeko. Hello, Miss Margie.
Hello. Guten
Hello.
Tag.
Yes. Kamusta po? Again, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and welcome to Leaders in Action.
Thank you for inviting me. And I'm so happy with this new way of doing business that we can communicate. Imagine we can communicate while I'm here and you're there. So that has really changed the whole horizon of our industry and the world.
Thank you.
And thank you also, Ivy, for your advocacy. I have always looked up to you. You were always a speaker for PFAP, and Jay and you were both very much helpful to all the leaders in the Film Life company. And to be honest, Film Life was instrumental in forming us in Manulife because we were just a small band of advisors. And your leaders in Film Life were already doing more more people than what the whole company was at that time, of course.
That time.
There's a saying, Margie, that we are a family, in the industry. And I hope your generation, the current generation, will continue to look at it that way. Ha? Well, base sa experience namin, pag maganda usapan, ang bilis ng oras ha. So, umpisahan na natin ha. I hope you don't mind. But again, maraming salamat. Isiningit mo kami sa iyong busy schedule dyan sa Europa. Alright?
Thank you. Thank you.
So maybe just give us an overview of your group now in terms of size, agency, number of leaders, number of advisors, and areas of operations.
Okay, sounds like a big team. Actually, I would like to say that first, thank you to our amazing leaders in Phoenix Hall of Fame region. I am just the representative of our region, but they are part of what we do. Our leaders and our advisors are all organic. Okay, that's a new word that we're using in the industry. So let me use that word. Actually, our team is composed of people who are top producers in the Philippines and in the world also. As of September, we have already my advisor who is a Hall of Fame, top of the 10 table for 10 years.
Oh.
We also have all my leaders are Gamma awardees, and we have also 13 MDRT as of September. Okay? So we hope to have at least 20. There was a time we had 40 MDRT, but there's a change for this year. We had a spin-off 2 regions in 2016 and just in the pandemic, January 2020. As of now, we have 400 team members in Phoenix Hall of Fame region.
Right, quite a number, 400, and I can just imagine the number of customers that you have been able to touch, no? Marge, itong ang sa industry natin, alam mo naman mula nung nag-umpisa ikaw, ang sinasabi nila 2 ways to get into the industry: by accident, ibig sabihin nagkataon lang, or by design, open plano. In your case, how did you start your career in the industry? By accident ka rin ba?
Thank you, Ivy, for that question. Actually, as we say, there is no accident in this world. We have been designed by the master planner. All our kumbaga nakaiguhit na sa palad, all our plans was made by someone up there for where he wants us to be. However, of course, we have to hear and listen to those calling. I joined the industry by walking in. There were no COPs at that time. So I walked into Manulife because I heard about it. I was actually being recruited by 3 different people from 3 different companies. But I just walked into Manulife, and I am glad I made that choice. It was really a small company. Do you know, Ivy? You will be surprised. In fact, my friends in the Gamma board would be surprised. How could you have joined only 30 plus years ago, but Manulife is 100 years? How come you say we, at that time, you know how many we were? I was the 5th female agent. Female agent. And do you know how many we were? 35. 35. 35. Because Manulife had no unit managers, no middle managers at that time. It was just direct to one person who was leading the company, and it's like a branch office only. But the good thing with us is we grew together, and most of the people really stayed long because we became like a family. So that is the reason. Like now, 30 is not even one unit. One unit could be 50.
Yeah.
Correct. Pero ngayon, based on your experience and your own leader's experience, marami pa rin bang pumapasok na by accident o nakikita nyo na mas marami na ngayon na nag-join ng industry dahil gusto nila at planado?
Combination actually, with the
Combination.
fact that there are more leaders recruiting, therefore there are more people joining, and there are also now more organized career orientation programs. I'm sure all the companies now have career orientation programs, so they invite people and they come in, no? So many of them have different reasons for joining, because they want to give in to someone, or they want to just try it,
Yeah.
but actually the most important is that they come in. Then however, when they come in, that's where the work of the leader comes, no?
Yes.
It's not as if
Very true.
they come in and you forget about them. Actually,
Yeah.
this is what I learned from Gamma, that you are always recruiting your existing agents, because sometimes during the recruitment process we invite them. Then when
Yeah.
they're there, we let them be on their own. No, you are
Oh.
always recruiting them.
I think that's a very good point to remind all leaders today that hindi natatapos yung trabaho kapag nalisensyahan yung agent. Kailangan, sabi mo nga, it's an everyday process to take good care of that particular agent. No? Thank you. All right. Thanks. Now, isa na lang question bago kay Jay. Ano sa palagay mo, Margie, ang pagkakaiba ng ahente ngayon doon sa ahente dati?
Very different, because as we said, they're in a big team, they're in a big pool, so they're not as taken care of. However, they have new ways now. They have new ways of prospecting. If you need to see someone, you can just look at the Facebook and do a background, right? Backgrounder. So actually, the agents today have all the means. However, it's also a matter of age, because if they're young, they really cannot stand long meetings, right? I mean,
Yes.
they don't want to have a whole day meeting. In fact,
Yes.
in the Zoom, at maximum is 45 minutes. No?
Correct,
But
correct.
so that's a difference. I also know that the agents now have many other choice that they seem to think is better. Okay? They need to see that they think this is an easier way. So there's so much more choice, because it's also, the world has changed also. I mean, they can work now online, right?
Yeah.
They can be representing not just insurance, but they can represent other companies abroad. Like even here in Germany, okay, I want to tell you what's happening here in Germany. I see the people are being asked to go back to work, just like in the Philippines.
Yes.
People are being asked to go back to the offices, but they are resisting. They like the new way. So that's where the challenge is. Of course, our work, we need a little more face-to-face among our people, especially for leaders. I know I have one branch that he told me he had lots of all young people, but during pandemic they all disappeared because he said to me, March, because before they were happy to see each other. Young people also like to be together. But my senior people, I'll tell you, my senior people, very, very happy because they can still do their business and they're at home, right? So there's a difference, but everything is a process. And what I'm happy with now, when people are saying about pandemic, what I'm happy is we're still relevant. More so I can't retire. When people ask me, when will you retire? Well, let me wait after this pandemic because I feel my importance, to help at this time. When the going gets tough, you have to be there, right?
Correct. Thank you, Margie. Thanks, Jay.
Yes, Miss Marge, thank you for giving us the difference na ng mga advisors before at yung ngayon. Mapunta naman po tayo sa pagiging namang leader. If I may ask you, Miss Marge, how much simpler was life then for leaders?
Actually, I would say that it's still basically the same. The platform has changed, and the method, face to face and online. But actually, as a leader now, you need exactly the same thing. Just like the world has changed, but our alphabet has not changed.
Mm.
What is, to me, I like the ABC. A is for aspire. Before and now is the same. A leader has to aspire for his own goals because the company has goals which is should be lower than your own personal goals. It cannot be that you want the same thing that the company has. The company says you have to produce number of recruits and then you will be promoted. It has to be your desire. It has to be your desire. No? So uh, also B is believe. Believe in yourself, in your company, and in your team. Sometimes when you start, you mentioned, Jay, a while ago that this really venue, this advocacy you're doing is for the new leaders that has come so fast now in our industry. And so I'd like to address how it is for the units. The units usually could be the most beneficial time because you have a fussy feeling. You know each other. You know their family. You have lunch. When I was a unit, sometimes I really experienced that they resist you going somewhere else. Right? There's that thing to they don't. But I had to remember my own goals that I need to build and you have to grow. No, so sometimes you have to take out yourself from the group, right? So you have to believe that you are destined to grow, no? To multiply yourselves. Because if you believe in this business, then you want to multiply yourself. Sometimes what I always tell, because I've had some units that really had a hard time in the past with the education crisis, no? So there people left also. But I always tell them if they want to quit, don't allow your people to make you quit. Don't allow your advisors to make you quit. Because if you quit being a leader, like I was having a hard time starting, but if I quit, what will they say? They will say, that's why I didn't do well. My my manager is not good, right? Now I have advisors who are all abroad. They were with me. I was starting with lots of millennials at that time. Well, they wouldn't be called millennial now, but they were young because I saw that I needed to have some young people. But it's true, even at that time, they were not married. Then they married, they go to Canada, they go to the US. So that's really the problem with having young because they're not yet established in where they will live, right? So, but at that time, they were happy, but they will move on. So it's important that you are always looking at your team as a passion to bring more people. Some are there to stay for a long time. Some are there to stay for a while. It doesn't matter. As a unit manager, I would have a meeting and syempre, konti lang kayo, konti rin dumadating, maski isa. And I hated the fact if the person will get mad of why the others are not attending. Because I would attend and they will get mad at the others. I'm not here. I'm here. Why will you talk about that? So to me, it's not the numbers in a meeting. Even if it's just one person, I will continue with the meeting. Even now in Zoom, they'll say, maybe we should not continue with the meeting. I would hear other unit. I attend unit meetings also. It's so easy to attend more meetings now. So, but I said, no, you're there. We're here for you.
Yeah.
That's really what counts.
Okay. So that's the ABC, manager.
No, I forgot the C, the commitment. That's why I told you sometimes I need to be reminded.
It's okay.
Commit. The difference is, Jay, the difference is in the commitment. The advisors are not as committed as I mentioned because they have other options, whatever. So it's the leaders that have to be committed. As mentioned, I've lost many members also in this pandemic, but my leaders are there. Why? Because my leaders are committed. They have been there in the best of times, and they know that they will progress in some time. And of course, it really helps that they know I was here in the power of stay.
Yeah.
They know if you leave, well, how sure are you gonna do better? It's never the grass is greener on the other side, right? So I think that is an inspiration for other people that are senior people in Manulife. We have many senior leaders. I'm not the only one. But is the fact that just like when I was starting, I really got attracted to the older people, and I said, "Oh, this is a business for life."
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
Yes, that's true. So, Miss Margie, if ABC remains to be vital for a leader to succeed, no, in this modern time, what can you say naman po are the new things that are required of a leader that were not so essentials before? Pero ngayon ay requirement na talaga na para maging mas matagumpay ka na leader.
Okay, I have a new unit who said he's really not homegrown, no, hired by a branch, and he said, I'm not techie, I'm not techie. But actually, our business, you have to find ways and means. I'm not techie, but I have
Yeah.
staff who do it. Then
Mm.
I have my branch managers are even older than me. Okay, I just want you to know, because when I was an agent, I recruited older than me, because I was starting as 20s. I recruited 35, so they're older than me, but they have children who are now in the business, who are
Mm.
techie. Is no, so that's the difference. That's the difference now for the leaders. They have to, and the leader today has to also be. We were talking about that earlier, Ivy. The leader
Yeah.
himself has to represent a symbol of success, not
Yeah.
just in the title. They can have a title, but if they feel that this leader has not really proven themselves, then they will not follow. So to me, it's just as important now that the leader is a good example of their own life. No, their own
Mm.
life. It has to be a balanced life. They have to have a good family background, and I mean, they have a good family among themselves. You know, their family's whole, and they are also having a good financial situation.
Yeah.
Yes, dapat ano, no, model their way, model the way. No, that leaders should be modeling the way for their advisors, and their junior leaders. Okay, so thank you very much for sharing that, Miss Margie.
Margie, you've mentioned that of course you have been an example of an MDRT, and tapos yung mga tao mo nung noon pa MDRT. So ang tanong, yung meron ka bang ginagawa noon na ginagawa mo pa rin ngayon in developing agents to become performers and MDRTs?
Of course, the beauty of having a bigger team is you can cross-pollinate, cross-pollinate. No longer, in Gamma, they say that a leader is paid for what he or she doesn't do. Meaning, it's not you who has to do it. I noticed that if it's a leader saying to the advisor or to the other leader, they will, it's like a mother saying to the child,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So they don't follow. But the idea is, I'm not one of those that I want my people to just stay with me. The first thing I do when, sometimes you only have two people who attended the rookie. We have rookie awarding or rookie out of town event. I say, oh, please talk to the others and learn from them, because you cannot do everything. I mean, actually, you learn from others. So the idea is for them to really mix, and that was the difficulty during the pandemic, because it was not easy to get together. But I noticed when they meet people, and especially the young ones, they meet. That's why I have the Phoenix Young Leaders. They support each other. So that's really the important thing before and now.
In other words, one is that yung making sure that napapasa mo sa iba yung dapat na gawain. Tama yung sinabi mo pag yung mga bata, pag magulang nagsasabi, hindi agad sumusunod no? Pero pag ate o kuya, minsan mas lalo mabilis ha.
Yes,
Ah,
yes.
Ngayon, meron ka bang bago, looking back, meron ka bang, and now today, meron ka bang ginagawa ngayon na hindi mo naisip gawain nung nag-uumpisa ka as a leader? To make your
Uh,
agents more productive?
actually now, it also depends on the position, right? On the fact that
Yeah,
I have more branches, no?
correct.
But when I was a unit or a starting branch, I was doing everything that Manulife is doing now. You know, you
Mm,
monitor their production, you
yeah.
monitor their awards, you monitor their their goals and objectives, their
So,
activities.
yeah.
But even then, I would still have, one of my strength. But because basically, as a leader, you have to concentrate. What do you enjoy? You have to do the
Mm,
job that you don't enjoy.
correct.
I give away the job I don't enjoy, which is typing or computer. I don't like that. But so I believe as a leader, my strength is I organize. I love organizing and setting the mindsetting. Like to me, I explain to them that because the problem with fast growth, okay, IV is the lapsation.
Mm,
If you look at the models that even in other companies I see, those that went on such a fast growth, their conservation became down. Uh,
oh,
I am not insulting people whose conservation went down because of the pandemic, the
yeah,
client lost the business, if it is just
yeah.
one or two. But if it is a practice, then
Mm,
it's really bad for the industry. And I'd like to use this forum to discuss that
yes, please.
aside from the fact that it affects the mindset now is, oh, you have to, to fix your conservation, or else it will affect your bonus, it will affect the trips, and including the managers it affects. But I think it's not that.
Yeah.
One promise of a father, yeah, that,
Oh,
that he is providing for his family. And then what will happen if they come in and it's lapse? It's
correct.
really heart wrenching. And to me, I really believe in our business and really uplifting the Filipino, because if they have the protection from someone who was employed or had a job, then they
Mm,
are able to continue with a better family stay in school. No? Maybe that's where we are lacking now, to be honest. The
mm,
mindsetting, it's
mm,
really more conservation for what you need,
correct.
but more for the promise of what our product does. No, so to me, and it's a good thing, as I mentioned to you. Most of my people are organic in the team,
Yeah.
so and they are the ones doing well, so they
Mm,
become an example for the others. Because during this pandemic, what happened? I said, the ones with the client base will prosper. And it's true. They
mm,
continued on.
mm,
My agents and advisors and leaders who have clients, they continue. And then also the one that will be prospect is the new ones who will embrace this new way. Because when they come in, they don't know about paper submission.
yeah.
They don't know
Wala.
about this online, the
Digital.
not face-to-face presentation. They only
Ah,
know Facebook, they only know. So that's what they know. It's really the ones who could not adjust were those who were in between, right? They didn't have clients, they didn't really
mm,
embrace the new system. So that is the thing now that is different. So now the company has so much, for my case, no, Manulife, we have so much events for NBRT to help
yeah.
them. So what I do is really take care of the emotional. There's a lot
Mm,
of emotional that happened in the last 2 years. No? So
mm,
the first year, everybody was getting distressed about what happened. The whole
yeah.
world was distressed. So instead, I have a theme for our event, our Zoom event, Lockdown with Love. So Lockdown with Love,
Okay.
I made them make a video of
Oh,
their family. I
mm,
took them out of insurance. I really took
mm,
out insurance in what our topic is what
mm,
happened to you now during pandemic. And they had a video, we had a contest of how
mm,
they were with their family. Just take them off. You can't
mm,
always really just focus anymore on the situation. Of course, the company has to focus on that, but me, I have to focus on the emotions. Then, so basically, it's really listening to and being empathetic to where they are coming from now. So I think there's more emotional now. And the units now need to be more close to their team because they're not seeing each other so much.
I think that to totally agree. No, I just want to highlight what you said about persistency and conservation and what it really means to the customer, and not so much about my qualification to certain awards and trips, diba? And number two, yes, totally agree with you that leaders, they have to be very creative and inventive in how to really take care of their people when their people face certain challenges like yung nangyari sa atin sa COVID, no? And that happens when you are listening and sensitive of what's happening around your team, no? So again, very important points. Salamat, Marge. Jay.
Yeah. Miss Margie, we know that decision making is one of the key responsibilities of an agency leader. And I'm sure in your case, after so many years in their career, you have made so many big, no, and tough decisions. Miss Margie, will you say that decisions involving people are the toughest ones to do?
Yes, in a way, if you are, okay, let me answer that. Advisors eat rejection for breakfast, right? That's what we always say. You have
Yes.
been helping the agents think that way, that you must accept rejection. Leaders live with crisis and decision making.
Yes.
Are you going through it or are you growing from it?
Mhm.
That is the important thing because as a leader, a crisis is not a crisis. It is actually a way for you to build your character. I know because I have a spiritual learning that God does not go off tangent or take meaningless detours. When He gives you a crisis, you have a crisis of belief. And this crisis of belief, actually, He is forming your character because He is preparing you to a bigger assignment. I believe that if I did not go through unit manager, branch manager, and region, and having more teams, going through all the different crises, external, internal, change of policies, the work of a leader is really, we are taking care of people to stay with us even if they have no salary, right? That is not an easy thing to do. But
Yes.
because if your character as a leader is being ingrained and you are formed, then you learn from it. You learn from it. I live, Jay, well, you moved to Davao. Congratulations, going to Davao. So for me, I live in Makati, and beside my condominium, in 2020, I actually saw a building being built. It's right beside my condominium, and of course, it's going to cover my view. So I saw how deep the foundation is. It's really very deep, and it was taking so long. And of course, the people in the building were complaining, the noise, the dust. But in a way, I had to look at it from another way. God is showing me, here is how I'm found, is the foundation. They are building, putting more solidity. And then, when it reached, right now, after 2 years, it's suddenly went up. It's now 20th floor. It will be a 59-story building designed by Sir John Foster. Sir John Foster is the designer of all the iconic buildings in the world. In London, in New York, he did the Hong Kong, all HSBC, all his buildings are iconic. So that's the one beside me. That's going to be the one beside me. And I see that he is building our foundation. No? So that is why crisis is opportunity. Let me give you David from insurance. I just got a Viber chat from one of my members of my team. Her son, Texon Lim, attorney Texon Lim, is now head of the government disaster committee. head of disaster committee. It just came in today, so I want to tell you today. And do you know Texon was in the disaster in Visayas. Remember the where was that? There was a
Loba?
big disaster.
Mm.
It's a big disaster in the Visayas, and
Hainan.
I beg your pardon.
Hainan, the typhoon in Hainan. Yung
Yeah,
malaki.
that time. And
Oh.
I was telling my friend, my agent, she's my agent, she's an advisor. I said, oh, maybe I can go there and help. Margie, what are you gonna do here? There's no electricity, there's no there's nothing, there's no place to stay. And they were seeing bodies lined up in the streets. Oh, okay, I won't anymore go there. But that crisis now made him stronger. He underwent a lot of things, but he made him. I like, I forgot. I just read it today. Of course, we're preparing for this. I saw he said that it's all from the heart. So to me now, the heart is very important. The heart, our job in the industry is the very heart of God. God considers as good those who take care of widows and orphans.
Mm.
It's biblical. But do you know, that's what I carried me to stay, as you said, the power of. But you know what? After 39 years, I have so few, so few debt claims. But I have some agents who are new and some unit. They already have so much claims already. And they saw how it works for the education builder, for they're able to educate the family. So that's really enhancing to us, to know that. And that's what we share. That's what we need to share more of, because investment, the problem also with our industry, they all move to investment. We should, and then the investment are down. It should continue with the core of our business.
Okay. So, Miss Margie, kapag kayo ay in front of a decision, a tough decision that you have to make, ano po usually ang nag-guide sa inyo? I mean, how do you balance yung sabi niyo po, yung heart, coming from the heart, but at the same time, being objective about the situation? Paano po kayo nag-guide doon?
Just to be direct, the most of the decisions or the problems in my level, okay, this is now my level, not the unit level, is always when there's a change in the company, right? There are always changes, and you have to balance. And the most important is to still look at it, separate myself. Manulife in 39 years, if you will know all the things that happened, there's so many changes that affected me. But I know that the executives will make certain decisions because that's their job. That's their job. So it's nice to distance myself from the situation. And why is the company doing this? Why are the age advisors feeling this? I have to look at it as if I'm looking, and most of all, of course, I leave it to my prayer life. I have my sumbungan, kumbaga. For example, okay, let me give you a classic example. At that time, we had a franchise. You know that IV, right? Manulife had a franchise system.
Yes.
And of course, our people are very service-oriented because they have the franchise. Then they remove the franchise. And the reason they remove the companies will not join if the franchise is there, right? They feel they can join you have franchise. So, I didn't know this will be something I'll share, but I guess it's good as you say, it will come out. The franchise was also a problem. They will have say, I have the franchise, but this client wants to. So I got freed from decision. Actually, in this time, when it's a big company, I got freed. It's very hard for us to accept, if you're used before, they would ask everything from us, what we think. No, nobody asks us. And they always think because I am Margaret Ongkeko, the master agency, the #1 in the company, I can do something. I'm sorry, I'm powerless. I have to accept that we are powerless. We just have to trust the system.
Marge, throughout your career, you stayed very loyal to your company with all of your achievements, no? you must have received, I am very sure of this, countless offers to transfer to another company. Pero what made you decide to stay where you are?
I like that question because really that is a strength. When I was starting as a an advisor, I will make a client call and this person is an orphan. Orphan means their original agent left. And then I will take over and then they will tell me, our agent left Manulife and they were trying to get us. They were trying to get us to join them and become a client there. But no, we said we'll stay with Manulife. That's so I learned that you can't always take your clients with you. I mean, you told them about the company and then you left, no? So that's one. Second, I also was told, it's the stories that I see outside the company. You're a unit manager. Oh, why don't you, Margie, you have to focus on that because us, we were with a certain company and we also were doing well. And then we started doing this, doing that, having our team do something else, and it went haywire. So I learned it from experience of other people. No? So with the offers to me, of course, it is really different when you already have a client base, by the fact that I really know that it's not easy to build a client base.
Right.
As I tell my agents, you're not after a sale, you're after a client base. A client will always buy and buy again, bigger and bigger policies. Why are my advisors, why are they doing well? Because they have a client base. No? So it's important to be faithful to your client also. No? So that's the reason I would not be tempted. And even then, of course, at a certain point, nobody offers me. I'll tell you, I will not tell you the name, but said, Marge, we can't afford you.
Baka kasi alam nila hindi ka naman talaga kasi lilipat because nga your heart is in your customers, no? Now, Mark, you have been a very busy person building your own group, and yet you found the time to actually be very active in industry associations, 'di ba? So, bakit mo na bigyang halaga 'yon? Why did you have that motivation to be part of an industry association when you have your own group to attend to?
Yes, Ivy, that's correct. I had that reason is really because as a leader, you have to be a good follower. At that time, John Chua, John Chua is also the most senior in the company. He is 10 years ahead of me, actually. He's 40 plus years. And he was the manager, and he became president of Gamma Philippines. And he asked me to be a secretary. And I'm a follower. Okay, I'll be secretary. And then I stayed on in the Gamma board for 5 years. And then eventually became president 2 years after. But actually, it is so nice to mix with people from the other industry, and it really helps you to grow because they were from different companies. They're all leaders in the board, and so it's important to really mix with other people, especially not only here, even abroad, so because you cannot stay the same, you have to always learn. One time I was a speaker for Malaysia, and invited were people from China, from Taiwan, from different countries. And when in the dinner, they asked me, what is the production of your team? So of course, my production at that time was kind of high already, branch or something. And then I gave the production, and then they whispered among themselves. I remember that experience. They whispered among themselves, and then they said, but you are the top, right, in the Philippines? Because of course we are in pesos.
Yes.
And they were in, China. China. They have thousands of agents. So it's always good not to think you're the best. you can feel never be content. You have to look upwards, no? Even in as an advisor, always go to higher clients. Your income must, you start going to higher clients because your income must be, going up with them. Same with a leader, you also have to be mentored, or just not necessary to be mentored, just to be inspired.
Yeah. Well, I think you said it very well. By joining industry associations, create opportunities for you to learn and to rub elbows with those who have different perspective and much better than you, so that you continue to grow. Ha? Tama naman. Thank you, Marge.
Thank
Miss
you, Ivy.
Yeah, Miss Margie, you are now managing siguro different generations in the team. So you have your Gen X, your Gen Y, and your Gen Zs. No, specifically talking about the Gen Ys, no, and the Gen Zs, how different are they from the other generations? And as a leader, paano ka nag-adjust? O sila ba ang nag-adjust sa iyo so that you can properly manage them?
Well, thank you. It's true. Some leaders will have a difficulty with dealing with the younger people. But as mentioned, my leaders, our advisors, are senior. So the people they're leading are their children already. Not many. I have a few, but that's my plan now. I want my senior people to get more of their children to join, because I believe to have a manager inside the house who is already steeped in this, even if they were not as MDRT, the fact that they stayed. I have leaders, I have agents who've been with me 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So they could really imbibe the culture, because really it's culture building. So for me, the branches are doing well, getting the children. That's the new way they're doing it. So I remember I also have a friend. I was recruiting her forever. Then I met her in a party. She said she decided to join another company because I never really pursued her. And then she said all her leader and her team is young people. so I don't know. Well, she's not anymore there. But I think I also was the young one. No, I was the young one at the time. In 35 agents, I was the young one. One orphan told me, "Oh, I asked my former agent because I helped her, service her account, and I gave that you're the one servicing." I said, "Oh, that's the young one." Young ones. So actually, I like to be with younger people. I like to be with senior people. It doesn't matter. People are people. So I think, in fact, they're surprised, the young ones. My young leaders said, "We don't know how you had the energy. We don't know if you can reach that energy." But I tell them, look, you can grow faster now. Don't think that just because I'm here 30 years and above, you will have to wait 30 years. No, it's faster now. It's faster way. But to be guided by the same principles and values is important. So, but, their energy, they say, is not the same. The commitment is not the same, but it really depends. I have 70-year-old new agent who are very good with our EPOS. That's our online way of doing the application, no? And so iba-iba talaga. There are some people who join us, and she's 70. Well, she's not under me, but she was saying how she was able to adjust. See, so it's really the person. No? So, and actually, my advisors and some of my young leaders, naunahan ko ba daw sila? Because I like to I like to learn. Like the Canva. I was starting with Canva because I had a niece that I was tutoring, and she was doing Canva. so it's really the exposure.
Yes. Now, considering how different these young people are, no, in their work attitudes, no, in their mindset preferences, ano po usually yung ano yung advice na lagi nyo sa kanilang sinasabi so that they can also experience yung power of stay nyo?
For them,
O kasi alam
Most
natin kasi very mobile sila, di ba? Pa hop sila. So ano po bang ina-advise nyo sa kanila?
Well, most of all, most important is, as I said, do not keep your eye on the ball. Income is very important. Let's face it. The reason you're doing this is for income. If your income is not okay, then you'll really move on. No? That's one. Second is relationship with your other team. You must have relationship with other members who will inspire you. Those are the ways that you could do it. No, but I can't really say some don't still stay because some find our system different. Like when you buy, like I was surprised when you buy something here, it's so easy. It was delivered the next day. My daughter bought for me something. The next day it was delivered. What? It's the new way. It's fast. We really
Yeah.
have to be fast. But our product has its reason. You really have to have a commitment. You have to talk about insurable interest, data privacy. That they have a source of income. Then
Yes.
there's so many details, health situation. So it really takes a lot for us to bring in a case, but the rewards are good because of the relationship that you have with your clients, diba? So you can never change that, diba? You can never change that also. And important, as I was saying also, is for them to stay, they must always have aside from income is keep the income. You can have the income, but you lost the uh, uh, you did not invest. No, you have to invest in your business. You invest in yourself, and you invest also in ways that will keep you having to work, but not that you need the money so much. For example, you have to invest in property, but you must make sure you have money to pay that. Not that you still have to search for it.
Yes.
I think some people left because of that. And some people, okay, this is one thing I told to one of my managers recently. We have so many trips in Manulife. We have about 5 trips a year. Different levels for different. And in the past, when I went to my first 2 years in the company, I plan to stay. I didn't plan to stay as mentioned, but what happened is there was a 100-year anniversary of Manulife financial 100 years, and I said, oops, I have to stay because I'll never be around for another 100 years. So I qualified for that. And they even made me the speaker for the Philippine delegation. Do you know, Ivy and Jay, how many we were in that time? 10. We were 10 representatives from the Philippines. And you know how many was Manulife at that time? 40. So what is that? That's a ratio of 25%. Right? And you know how much was the requirement? When I think about it, it's almost 900,000, 890 for 2 years, 400,000 a year, right? So, and case count was also required. So, I was earning very well even at the time as an advisor. Even as early as that time, on the first year, my income was 300,000. Second year, my income was 500,000. Third year, my income was 700,000. Fourth year, my income was 700,000. That is 37 years ago, right? So it's good income. But I felt, why should I not make a million? Why should I not make a million? I couldn't make a million. I was doing 100Ks, but still I couldn't make a million. Because I believe if you join this business, you should try to earn very well because as an advisor, they don't look up to you. You better earn very well, right? You have to. So what happened? I joined management. Actually, the reason I joined management is that I wanted to make a million. And I did. In my first year in management, I made a million, right? I made a million. So at that time, it was, it was big, but not really that big for me because I like more things. I'm a shopaholic and like that. So for your question, I don't know if I went off tangent, nag-off tangent na ako. My answer is they should earn well and keep their money and feel that they are growing. You know, not just also financial, also in their life, no? Because even if they make money, especially the young people, they can make money and
Yes.
they have to feel that they're growing. And I'm very happy with my young managers who really, I see, they're the ones running the show. They were running it. They don't really depend so much on the company. They make their own COP. So, oh, that's why they're staying. You know, they need to feel that they're needed. Diba? The young people, they need to feel that they're needed. And they need to feel that they are part of something bigger. So that's why they will stay. And of course, the income is there. But even if they have income, if they feel they're lost, nobody cares, you know, there's a difference. So it's combination. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, very well said, Miss Margie.
Marge, ako, ito na yung aking finale question sa iyo. Sa bilis ng oras at sa sarap ng kwentuhan natin. You have done so much for the industry, no? My question is, what are you most proud about and what gives you the greatest joy in the work that you have done and doing in the industry?
Thank you, Ivy. As mentioned earlier, things change when I put my life in perspective that we are only passing through. I got sick very badly in year 2000. I could not walk. I could not stand up. And yet at that time, would you believe that's the time we became branch of the year?
Oh.
Why? Because I'm a person, you know, that's really very self-driven. I want to do things my way. It's when I realize that it's not always, if it's to be, it's not up to me. So beginning on that, I learned and I inspire my agents also with that. And we are growing spiritually together. That's very important also. So what happened is you realize that this work is God ordained. It's not anymore a job, it's a calling. And there was a time every year I would ask, is it time for me to leave? Because I mentioned I just want to stay for 2 years and continue with our business, to have the income for our business. But then I kept on following all these trips. What's good with our industry is every year you're always running after a new thing, right? So when I found out, oh, it's 25 years. So I would say that what I do is not anymore about me. It's where I was placed by God. We have divine DNA. As I always say to our agents, to our recruits or to our leaders, just ask them to pray about their decision. And when they pray, if they find that this is the work that God planned for them, they will prosper. So it's what I share. And with us now, I'm very happy that I would say that this pandemic really changed our life to know who is our master. Diba? Who is our master? What is the world? The world is healing. And I like this story so much. There was a servant and a master. And the master said, oh, you're my most faithful servant. What can you ask me? I will give it to you because you have been so faithful. And the servant was dying. No? Can you let me live and continue to live? I'm sorry. I don't think that's something I cannot give you. Then the servant said, then I followed the wrong master. So I master agency. Why? Because I follow the master.
Well, I guess this work gives you so much joy and peace, no? And knowing that as you do your job very well, you are doing it for a much higher cause, no? Again, Marge, maraming salamat for your very generous sharing, And of course, we will not tire of saying for all of your valuable contribution to the industry. The generations today, sabi nga, are so lucky because they are standing on the shoulders of giants like you who set the foundation and paved the way. All right. So again, good health to you, and more power, Margie.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much again, Manager Margie. You never hesitated from the very first time that we reached out to you. So maraming salamat, and please enjoy the cold weather of Germany with your
Thank
family.
you.
And of course, thank you everyone for joining our real conversation with Manager Margie. This is indeed the most and the best fit and the best way to cap our season 5, no, in terms of our guest sharing. Kayo po ang aming finale guest sharer
Oh,
for our season 5, Miss Margie. Talagang kayo ang nagsara ng aming 5th season. No, next week, everybody, we would like to invite you, as Mr. Ivy and I will do our usual ender, no, yung ating founder's cut, where Mr. Ivy and I will answer some questions close to the heart of our leaders. So that will be next week.
So again, to our dear leaders, we invite you once again to join us next week, November 24, same time, 8 p.m. here in Leaders in Action.
Real leaders.
Real stories.
And real talk.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Miss Margie.
Thank you. I'm so happy.
Stay safe. Stay safe.